All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope everyone had a nice coffee break and some mingling and networking together. As we move into the end of the afternoon, I'd like to next welcome up Nicole and Steven to start our convo on making finance feel human. And we're going to be talking about building brand and creative strategies. So I'd like to welcome up Steven and Nicole for our next conversation. Come on up.
So I'm Stephen Millman. I am Chief Scientist at iSpot Television Measurement and a member of the Board of Directors of the ARF. I'm really excited to be here. I'm especially excited to introduce Nicole Dancel. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. So I'm Nicole Dancel. I work at Experian. I lead branding insights for the brand. And it's a really exciting time to be with Experian. We are really renovating and evolving what the brand is becoming. We're primarily online digital facing. So we have a lot of opportunity, especially as an insights team, to influence the brand and all touch points of where consumers are going to engage with us. So we're really excited about where the brand is going.
Yeah, and just probably worth mentioning, Experian is one of our wonderful clients using our creative testing solution at iSpot. So let's start with what's Experian got going on at the moment. Tell us a little bit about the goals for your marketing strategy and your client experience, customer experience.
Absolutely. So we have primarily been known for credit scores, credit monitoring. A few years back, we launched our Boost product, which was really an opportunity for consumers to be more in control of their credit. We put them in the driver's seat when it comes to looking at their overall credit health. And through that product, they were able to boost their credit as well as get information about how they can improve their overall credit health. Now we're evolving into finances, and we're going to put them in the driver's seat when it comes to having control of their financial journey. We just aired this past summer our financial friend campaign, our big financial friend campaign. And it's really an opportunity for us to have people engage with finances in a more approachable, relatable way. So Sam Richardson is our giant that's featured in our ad, and we're really lucky to have him. He really embodies what a big financial friend is. And beyond that, we have really embedded security and data privacy in everything that we do in credit. So we're bringing that trust and that promise over to the finance and financial experience. And that's where we're going to build on all of those equities that we have. We also have a portfolio of products that helps to reinforce this financial journey that we're on. So we have products that help you save money, products that help you budget, products that help you find the right credit card. So in combination with all of those equities, as well as the products that we offer, we're really excited about this campaign, moving the brand beyond credit and into this financial space.
Great. How about we meet our big financial friend?
When you've got a big financial friend who can give you an instant boost, your goals become easier to reach. Always by your side, your BFF is ready with so many ways to help you save. And by offering suggestions, your big financial friend can help you get where you want to go. Well, that's Experian, your big financial friend.
Great. So I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what are some of the ways you're measuring the success of the campaign and the impact of the brand?
Sure. So I think a lot of folks have spoken before about having a unified brand voice and having a really clear brand architecture to inform the creative direction. Also, at the beginning of all of our campaigns and even our brand strategy, we really are honed in on our target audience, who we're going after. And that helps really to translate how we're going to measure and how we're measuring in the creative development process. We have a creative testing toolkit that we really lean into, which looks at our performance from brand health all the way to campaign to individual creative performance, and helps us look at all metrics across the board from upper to mid to lower funnel. And so in the case of individual creative performance, that's a great partnership that we have with the iSpot team, because it helps us to look at how the creative is performing, not just in terms of performance, but also in terms of How are we delivering against some of those brand goals that we have? And in the case of the Big Financial Friend campaign, which was what was really nice to see is the ad compared to other ads in the database did very well, but exceptionally well on information and new news. And for a brand that's kind of venturing into this new space, it was great for us to get that reinforcement and that validation that we were sharing that information with consumers. So it was a really great story to validate and bring back to the business.
A really high performing ad compared to others in your
Absolutely.
competitive set. Strong on attention, strong on likability, strong on watchability, just down the line, just a great ad. So tell us a little bit about the role that influencers, creators play for Experian, because you're kind of an interestingly different company or brand than a lot of the folks we've talked about today.
Yeah, so finances is a really tricky thing for a lot of people. It can feel very confusing, overwhelming, and complicated. And so there's a lot of education that's required and needed when it comes to the financial space that we're learning. And we've learned that from the credit space as well. And that's where influencers really play a role for finances, for Experian, for a lot of brands, because they are educators, but they are also a conduit to help engage and make people feel more comfortable about talking with their finances. And that's really how we have leaned into some of our influencer partnerships, is to not only to help consumers identify what is out there in terms of finances, but also to connect with them in a really relevant and engaging way. We have had great partnerships with Flau'jae, for example, who is a guard on the LSU basketball team. And she has a really young base of consumers. And when it comes to finances, it's really important to engage them as they begin their financial journey. So they're a really critical component in just getting the conversation started and making people feel really comfortable with where they're going in terms of their journey.
Great. Shall we meet Flau'jae?
Yeah.
All right.
Growing up in a community where a lot of people weren't educated about their finances, so I feel like it's my time to change the way that we look at money and see finances. The most important way the Experian app has helped me is just the resources. The Experian app can help you build your credit, find new credit cards, car insurance, cancel subscriptions. You can use the tools and make your life so much easier. You got your finances in your hands and you can take control. The Experian app helped me save time and money. So what are you waiting on? Download the Experian app right now.
Great. So tell us a little bit about this. How did that work with the demographics you were trying to hit?
Sure. So, I mentioned before how at the beginning of every campaign and just our overarching brand strategy, we are focused on the audiences that we want to go after, audiences that are incremental and will drive growth for the brand. And Flau'jae was chosen because of her base and her followers and that younger demographic. And so we were able to reach her audience. But what was really exciting was that when we also brought her up through the funnel, so we had her featured in our broadcast messaging, we saw that the creative that she was featured in also over-indexed with that younger consumer base. So as we think about having that brand connection throughout, from broadcast all the way to the digital channel, we were able to have that singular brand voice with this one target audience and see that success throughout.
That's great. So what are the challenges Experian faces when you're working with influencers or creators?
Yeah, I think it's just such a vast ecosystem, and really trying to figure out, who to partner with. Are they authentic? Is it a natural fit with the brand? As I mentioned before, a lot of what we do is looking at not only the target audience, but as we think about what we're trying to stand for as a brand and what equities we're trying to lean into, how do those creators support and reinforce that equity? So that's something that we're hyper focused on, so that we can continue to build salience for the brand, connection back to the brand, and just build the message.
Yeah, that's great. And we've been looking at, so at iSpot, we measure virtually every national US television ad. And we've been finding that there is a lot of strength in the creators and the influencers when they're being used in the right way. and when there's great brand alignment. Um, what do you think are the most important tools that you need in creative measurement solution?
Yeah, so when it comes to creative measurement, one of the tools that's been really invaluable to us is being able to see what other brands are doing. And that's where the iSpot creative tool really helps to just to build and inform our creative development overall. It really helps to understand and see what other, not only brands are doing, but what consumers think about that, the feedback that they're getting, and how they're perceiving the brand message. In addition to that, the norms are also really important. So helping to see where you stack up versus other brands, and your performance, so you can be better positioned when you go out into the market. And I think just being able to also look at audiences, right? So not only do we want to look at brand performance, but we want to understand how are we tracking against a certain demographic or a certain cohort. So being able to have that that view into the data is incredibly valuable as well.
That's great. In terms of thinking about how you're doing measurement, what are some other ways that you're learning into leaning into your research to drive creative performance?
Yeah. So there's a few things that we do in terms when we're thinking about what's in rotation, what's out of rotation. We want to look at those brand response and the brand connection coming from our ads, but we also want to look at the direct response. How do we triangulate that? How do we bring ads that are both responsive in terms of driving that traffic, but also the brand? We also are constantly building in feedback from our consumers and from our member base. So we have a really strong voice of customer program. So as people are, coming into our ecosystem, we're listening to what they're saying, and we're building that into the product. We're building that into the brand so that we can optimize as we go.
Wonderful. And how are you thinking about your creative in relation to brand building?
Yeah, so creative in terms of brand building, I think, is really critical right now. There is a lot of noise in the marketplace. There is a lot of fragmentation, and everybody is really competing for share of attention. So it's really important that you have a salient, singular voice on, what your brand stands for and what your brand values are. So in all of our creative, we are always looking to embed what we stand for, our values, our core equities, so that we can consistently say that across multiple messaging points, whether it be in digital or in upper funnel broadcast messaging.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something Experian does really well. A lot of brands focus too much on the call to action, on the conversion, and lose track of the really vital importance of building up the brand to maintain your presence in market, to remain share of voice, top of mind.
Yeah.
So I think you guys have been doing a great job with that.
Combination of those, right? It's about that brand message, but then also having those direct response messages there, so you can build the brand value, the brand voice, the pull, but then also you can drive people to the web and engage with the product itself.
Any examples of how you're able to improve your ad performance with celebrities, with influencers, based on the creative insights that you've been getting?
Yeah, I think it's just, again, about that relatability and having partnering with celebrity and influencers that are really authentic and real. We've partnered with John Cena in the past. We've partnered with Sam Richardson. So it's really about those collaborations that make the brand feel real. Finances has a tendency of feeling very stuffy sometimes. So when we can bring levity to the category, I think that helps us stand out versus some of the other brands.
Right. Did you get to meet John Cena?
I did not, sadly.
I was going to ask for a connection, but no.
I'm looking for the connection.
You're looking for the connection. Anybody know James Gunn? Anybody in the audience? No? Is this crowd just too old to know James Gunn and Peacemaker? Come on. Okay, admit it. You watch the show. It's great. All right. So what some folks might not know about you is that you come from the CPG space. How would you maybe say a few words about how it's different going from CPG to direct to consumer?
Sure. CPG is a lot of fun. There are a lot of brands there. And so there's a big focus on that pull that I mentioned before and really having the brand stand out so you are chosen at shelf. And one of the things I mentioned earlier about Experian is because we're online and digital facing, there's just so much opportunity for the brand and the organization to own what that experience is. We don't have the infrastructure or the fixed overhead to kind of align to what the grocery store looks like. So it gives a lot of autonomy to the creative team as well as to the marketing team and the insights team, because we can really embed that into the experience and evolve it based on what we're hearing. So it's a cool place to be.
That's great. Well, thank you all very much for your time. Appreciate it.